Our next speaker, we're really grateful to have joining us is Brent Blevins, who's a subcommittee staff director at the U.S. House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He's a very challenging job to help give the direction to the agency that we all know and love at NASA, as well as other things. We're grateful to have him here, and so please join me in welcoming Brent, please.
Good afternoon. I should probably start with an apology. One, I know you're expecting a couple of members of Congress. I'm a couple steps below that, but I think I also owe you an apology because you're here at a very boring time in space. There's just not much happening right now, is there? Really, it's just, my days are empty. I don't have much to talk about. I don't have much to do, but that note of sarcasm aside, I do want to say thank you all for being here. I think what you're, particularly those of you who are on the earlier end of your track, I think it's really important because I know we have a wide range of people here. I think it's great when we have folks who are engineers and they're learning about policy, and I think it's great when people like me get to interact with you and talk about these, how policy is made. I get to learn from you the technical details. So, I know you all are taking time out of your busy schedules, and I think that's really important. I do want to take a moment to, kind of explain what I do, because I know we've got a broad cross-section of folks here who, come from a variety of fields. So I serve as the staff director for the Space and Aeronautics Subcommittee in the U.S. House. We fall under the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee. Our committee was formed in 1958. It's actually one of the newer committees in Congress. And I do want to mention an interesting historical fact about this room, actually. One of the things that led to the creation of our committee was Sputnik. Sputnik 1, Sputnik 2, and there's this sort of recognition in Congress that there needed to be a consolidation of science and research oversight. And one of the, but what kind of led to that though, were a series of hearings held by the then Senate Majority Leader Lyndon Johnson, several of which occurred in this room. So this is not the kind of room that just everyone gets to see when they come to visit the Capitol. I hope you'll take a minute and walk around here. But our committee has jurisdiction over federal R&D that's not defense related and isn't human health, and pretty much everything else falls within our committee's jurisdiction. So NASA, of course, National Science Foundation, NIST, good chunk of NOAA. There are other agencies as well, but that kind of gives you a flavor of what we have. And my subcommittee, Space and Aeronautics, so we have jurisdiction over pretty much all non-defense, non-intelligence community space activities. So what our job is we write laws, and then we look at what the executive branch is doing, with those laws. We're ensuring that, if Congress says NASA is supposed to go to the moon and then to Mars, they're doing that. That's a very kind of basic thing. I think Schoolhouse Rock is a bit of an anachronism for a lot of you, but some of you know Congress writes the laws, and then it's the executive branch's job to carry those out. And sometimes there can be a little bit of a tension there, and that's okay as I look around at some of my NASA friends in the room. Love you all, but we do have sometimes we have some good discussions about how it's carried out. So, so we do oversight hearings. Sometimes we'll invite NASA to come testify about a given topic, or we'll invite, companies that are in this room, Advanced Space, Astroscale, others, to come, hey, give your perspective. So one, we do these oversight hearings so that we can kind of create a public record of, hey, what's happening here? And it educates the members of Congress who are, writing these laws. And a lot of times what that does is that ends up resulting in legislation. One example, it's called an authorization bill. So I want to be clear, we do not actually provide dollars for NASA. We say, here's what we do, here's your mandate, here's what you're supposed to do. But then there's another committee called the Appropriations Committee who actually provides those dollars. If you all are here tomorrow at 9:30, you can go to Dirksen, the building next door, and you can see where you're going to see the bill that actually will fund NASA and NSF and NOAA. You can actually do that. So our committee is focused on policy direction. That's what we do. And we are working on a NASA authorization bill. And this is a bill that basically gives direction to NASA and says, here's what we expect you to do, go do it. We had a bill last year that didn't quite make it, to the president's desk, but I feel pretty confident that we are going to. I feel like we've got pretty good political alignment to do so this time. Another bill we're working on is a bill related to commercial space activities. So, a lot of you are either working for a commercial space company or you are that's probably where you're going to end up working, when you're out of school or wherever your career leads you. But right now there's a little bit of, ambiguity on like how certain activities by commercial space companies are supposed to be managed under international treaty here in the U.S. So we're trying to provide some clarity on that. We're trying to streamline a little bit of the regulatory process. We're trying to ensure safety, but also at the same time, make sure that, that we're enabling companies to operate here in the U.S. In as efficient a manner as possible. I always like to joke that my job consists of going to rocket launches and meeting astronauts, and that is true. And that is a lot of fun. But we do have a big responsibility. There was a panel here talking about lunar economic development, and then I know later on you have a panel that's going to be discussing prior policy inflection points for NASA and for space exploration. And what we do is, Congress has a really key role in that. Administrations change, they go back and forth, Republicans, Democrats, back and forth. But Congress can provide a lot of stability, and I think we take that role very seriously, and we're looking to continue that this Congress as well. I think I'm leading into a break, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't want to monopolize your time. But I do want to say, again, thank you. I have an open door. We have an open door. We meet with folks like you all the time. We really benefit when we hear your points of view. I'm a history and political science guy. I don't quite fully understand the rocket equation. That's why I need people like you to come in and meet with us, explain to us, talk to us about these things. So I really appreciate you all taking the time to be here. It's very important. You will benefit in your careers. The more diverse experience you have, the earlier I think the better off you're going to be. I'm always excited. I think it's one of those things that invigorates me a little bit, is to speak to some younger folks and kind of recall that enthusiasm that I had, before, 3 straight nights of appropriations or something. But no, it is great to be here. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you all. I wish you well, and I think we're going to have a break, right? Far be it for me to stand between you all. So, Brad, good seeing you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Brent. We really appreciate not just your comments here, but all the hard work that you and the committee do for the nation and for the agencies we love. So as Brent previewed, we are headed now into our scheduled break. We will be reconvening at 2:58. And yes, I'm being very precise because we'll be getting ready for Air Marshal Godfrey, who will be our fireside chat, will be joining us. So it's about 24 minutes from now. So please network, get coffee, snacks, talk a lot, and then please be back in the seats 2 minutes before the hour. Thank you.